Reggie Miller made some comments comparing Prime Shaq to Prime Joker, and it was very interesting to hear what he had to say. Now, Reggie Miller chose Shaq as the better player overall and said he would dominate in any era. I'm going to let you listen to Reggie's comments and his argument on this. And personally, I would probably choose Shaq as well. But after this, I want to expand a little on the Joker and explain my point of view on how incredible of a player this guy really is. Take a listen to Reggie, and I'll be right back.
Shaq in Orlando would dominate Joker, but Joker with Shaq after that, Joker, because he's inside, outside, that he would probably drive Shaq crazy.
Okay, let me first start saying, are we playing in today's rules or are we playing in Shaq's rules in the 90s and early 2000s? Like, which one do we get to do? Does Shaq get to get it in the post and turn and this was Shaq's favorite move and he got away with it. Today's game, he wouldn't be able to get away with that. So which rules are we playing with?
Okay, if you said, let's play today's rules, and I got Shaq at his peak and Joker at his peak, who you got?
I think Shaq dominates in any era. Let me start by saying that.
Okay.
So it wouldn't matter. I just think they would put Shaq in a gazillion pick and rolls in today's game and get him out of the paint. Shaq would have to cover more paint. Now, I do agree Orlando Shaq, who was nimble and skinnier and could run all day, I think he would thrive. I still think the most dominant of Shaq, when he was in LA and much bigger, he would still have an effect on the game. How would he do versus Joker? I mean, I would love it. I would love to see. I'm still going with big fella. Look, Shaq, he denied me on a lot of occasions. I never got a chance to play against the Joker, but the Joker, whoo, this boy is bad. I think he's already one of the top, 4 or 5 centers, in my opinion. Kareem, Shaq. I mean, you could throw Wilt in there. Moses Malone. Now, are we considering Hakeem a center? Because to me, if I was doing an all-time team, Hakeem would be my power forward.
Yeah, I have to put him at center.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Joker's in that conversation. No question.
But you would take Shaq over him,
Yes.
Hakeem over him?
I would take Shaq. I'm taking Kareem. Then you got to start thinking where Joker falls in.
In a league of super athletes who run faster and jump higher than anyone on the planet, the most unstoppable force is a player who does neither. He's the NBA's biggest problem, and no one has found an answer. This is the story of how Nikola Jokic's mind became the most dominant weapon in basketball. Every team has a plan for Nikola Jokic, and every single night that plan seems to fall apart. We've seen Rudy Gobert, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in this era, literally built to protect the rim, get methodically taken apart by him. We've seen Anthony Davis, one of the most versatile defensive weapons of his generation, look completely helpless. After getting swept by Jokic, LeBron James summed it up perfectly. Even when you think you've guarded him for one of those best possessions, he puts the ball behind his head Larry Bird style, and he shoots the ball 50 feet in the air and goes in. We've seen coaches throw everything imaginable at this guy. They've tried using quicker power forwards and letting their center roam as a helper. They've tried to be physical and push him out of his spots. Recently, teams have tried a radical strategy of simply denying him the ball at all costs, completely warping their own defense just to stop him from touching the ball. Now, Clippers coach Tyronn Lue famously designed his defense to let Jokic score as much as he wanted, betting that by shutting off his passing, the Nuggets' offense would stall. Jokic went on to drop 55 points, and Lue later admitted, "I didn't think he'll go for 55. The league's best defenders openly admit they just don't get it. Bam Adebayo, one of the few centers with the unique blend of strength and speed to challenge Jokic, put it bluntly. These are his exact words. He don't jump, He don't run fast. You can't speed him up. You can't move him. That shit's unreal. It's a feeling echoed across the league. Draymond Green, a defensive mastermind, said after one game, "He gave me total and complete hell tonight, and I had absolutely no answers. And I'm just going to laugh about it. Because either you laugh or you cry." The conclusion is always the same. There is no single answer for the Joker. The NBA's greatest defensive minds are all asking themselves the same question. How do you stop a player who doesn't play by the same rules as everyone else? To really understand why Jokic is an unsolvable problem, you have to understand just how impossible this story is. On the night of the 2014 NBA draft, Nikola Jokic wasn't in some green room wearing a flashy suit. He was reportedly at home in Sombor, Serbia, sleeping. When his name was finally called with the 41st overall pick, ESPN didn't even show his highlights. They were running a commercial for a Taco Bell quesarito. That one moment perfectly captured what the basketball world thought of him. He was an afterthought. Scouts saw a doughy, unathletic big man with okayish stats in the Adriatic League. In a sports obsessed with vertical leaps and sprint times, Jokic just didn't fit the mold. The Denver Nuggets themselves drafted another center, Jusuf Nurkic, 25 picks ahead of him in that same draft, seeing Nurkic as their defensive anchor of the future and Jokic as a possible backup at best. Early assessments of him included things like a passing Mozgov that can't jump. Many in his home country of Serbia even thought he should stay in Europe, worried that his game would stall on an NBA bench where he'd never get a real chance. He went on to become the lowest draft pick in modern era to ever win MVP. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to lead a franchise to its first ever championship. And he certainly wasn't supposed to become the most dominant offensive player in the game. Now he's averaging a triple-double with 29.1 points, 13.2 rebounds, and 11.1 assists in this 25-26 season so far. But he does it all. And he does it by turning his supposed weaknesses into his greatest strengths, weaponizing a mind that sees the game in a way no one else does. The central paradox of Nikola Jokic is that you can see everything he's doing, but you still can't stop any of it. He telegraphs his moves with the slow, deliberate confidence of a chess grandmaster, yet defenders are consistently 2 steps behind him. That's because defending Jokic isn't a physical battle, it's a psychological one. And nobody in the league is better equipped to win it. His dominance is built on 3 pillars that defy traditional basketball logic. First, there's the passing. Calling Jokic the best passing center of all time almost feels like an understatement. He's simply one of the greatest passers in history, period. He's like a 7-foot-tall point guard grabbing a rebound and leading the fast break himself. His teammates know to be ready at all times because the ball can come from anywhere at any angle. Those no-look dimes, the full-court touchdown throws, the whip passes through windows that didn't seem to exist, they're not just for the highlight reels. They are the foundation of the Nuggets' entire offense. Now, as Tracy McGrady once said, he passes people open like Aaron Rodgers style. The bounce passes in between defenses. What can't he do? He has an insane feel for the geometry of the court, a sense of mapping that lets him see plays unfold before they even happen. Defenders are trapped. If they commit to stopping his shot, he finds an open cutter. If they stay home on their man, he scores. He doesn't just make plays. He manipulates the entire defense, bending it to his will until it finally breaks. Second, There's his brain, what can only be described as the processor. Jokic's mind just works faster than anyone else's on the floor. His game isn't about speed of foot, it's about speed of thought. He recognizes, diagnoses, and counters defensive strategies in real time. There's a now famous play where, after seeing an opponent run a specific action earlier in the game, Jokic recognized it happening again and literally directed his teammates into the perfect position to blow it up, forcing a turnover. It's this mental supercomputer that allows him to exploit the game in ways others can't. He's become notorious for his intentional kicked ball violations. When an opponent drives past him, Jokic will simply sometimes just kick his foot out to deflect the ball. Now, sure, it stops play, but it's just a defensive win. It prevents an easy layup, kills the other team's momentum, and lets his entire defense reset. It's a perfect example of his galaxy brain IQ, finding a legal, if unconventional, way to get a stop. This is what LeBron James meant when he called Jokic cerebral. You can't make mistakes against him because he's processing the game at a level that anticipates not just your next move, but the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. Finally, there's his scoring. He has no explosive first step. He can barely jump over a phone book. And yet he's one of the most brutally efficient and unstoppable scorers in the league. His offensive arsenal is like a museum of forgotten shots and unorthodox moves that leave defenders completely baffled. His go-to weapon is the Sombor Shuffle, a high-arcing, one-legged fadeaway jumper named after his hometown. He lunges forward to put his defender on their heels, then abruptly shifts his weight back, creating just enough space to launch a shot that is almost impossible to block. One season, he made nearly 54% of his contested two-point jumpers, the best mark in the entire league. He combines this with an endless bag of off-balance floaters, crafty hook shots, and a masterful touch around the rim that turns would-be circus shots into high-percentage looks. Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers ever, summed up the experience of guarding him. He's so unorthodox, he said. It's like, oh yeah, that's a miss. And then it goes straight in. It's a game built not on overpowering athleticism, but on superior footwork, timing, and almost magical touch. When you watch the best to ever play the game talk about Nikola Jokic, you'll hear something different in their voice. A mix of awe, respect, and just pure confusion. They see a player who breaks all the rules they have learned. Now, Shaquille O'Neal, arguably the most physically dominant force in NBA history, looks at Jokic and sees a completely different kind of greatness. Kevin Garnett, one of the most intense and skilled defenders of his generation, simply called Jokic a problem, marveling at his ability to run an entire offense as a 7-footer. He said, "I haven't seen anything like this guy before." Hall of Famer Dirk Nowitzki, another European legend who revolutionized his position, sees Jokic as the next step in the evolution of the big man. He said, with the lack of athleticism, you really have to say that he's arguably the best player in the world. Just skill level out of this world. How he reads the game, his basketball IQ, is just incredible. Nowitzki pointed out that while smaller players could try to guard him, Jokic is simply too big. But against big guys, he just draws them out to the perimeter, making their size useless. Perhaps the most telling praise comes from his peers, the guys who actually have to face him. One of those guys is Anthony Edwards. After a tough playoff loss, could only laugh in disbelief. "He the MVP," he said. "Best player in the NBA. He was special. I got to give him his flowers." That's what Anthony Edwards said about him after losing to him in the playoffs. And then there's LeBron James, a basketball genius in his own right. He says guarding Jokic keeps you constantly off balance because of his ability to score, rebound, and pass. but he singles out one specific trait. He sees plays before they happen. There's not many guys in our league like that. This isn't just praise, it's an admission. It's recognition from one of the game's all-time greatest minds that Jokic is playing on a different intellectual plane. When the legends and the current superstars all say the same thing, that they've never seen anything like him, it confirms the truth. Jokic isn't just a great player. He's a new basketball archetype. So why can't the NBA solve the Nikola Jokic problem? The answer is simple. He isn't a problem that can be solved with a single defensive scheme or a single superstar defender. He's not a physical puzzle you can figure out with speed or strength. He's a mental puzzle. Now, his entire game is a paradox. He's a slow-footed center who leads fast breaks. He's a reluctant scorer who'll drop 55 on you if you game plan to dare him to shoot. He's a passer so brilliant that he makes his teammates better just by being on the floor. Now, inspiring them to play at a level they didn't even know they could reach. Defenses are designed to take away a player's primary strength. But what do you do when a player's primary strength is his mind? How do you game plan against an opponent who's already thinking 2 steps ahead of you in the game plan? For decades, the blueprint for an NBA superstar was clear. You simply gotta be faster, stronger, and jump higher than everyone else. Nikola Jokic, the 41st pick in the draft, threw that blueprint out the damn window. He proved that the most powerful weapon in basketball isn't in your legs, but between your ears. He isn't just a player, he's a basketball paradox, a walking, passing, somber shuffling testament to the idea that there is more than one way to dominate. He's the problem, and there is no solution to that problem as of yet. Now, if you like that breakdown, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll talk to you later. Peace.